Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Pascack Clutch Podcast once again. It is Wednesday, January the 10th. We had a lot of things to cover, including the College Football National Championship, a few upsets in college basketball, and the NFL playoffs being set. But as always, we will start with our Pascack Hills School sports. Boys basketball is 2-1 in 2024 with two divisional wins over Mawa, most recently 64-55, and Indian Hills 57-37. They did lose to Ramsey 52-39 for that one loss, but Ramsey is one of the best teams in the state of New Jersey, number 5 in Group 2 at the moment. Our Bronco wrestling team is on a roll. They are 4-2 so far with losses to Emerson, Borough, and Riverdale. Their first home match will be against Ramsey tonight at 7. We will have live coverage of that on Huddle TV. But if you can show up, those wrestling matches are something else when it comes to the fan atmosphere. And with that, we will turn our attention to college and professional sports, more specifically college football with the College Football Playoff National Championship in Houston. There were some tornado warnings before, and they said they may have postponed or canceled the game. They probably should have canceled the game because the final score, it was close, I think, through most of the third quarter, I would say. I mean, Michigan was, the score was close through most of the third quarter, but Michigan was dominating them. It
was 13-17 in throughout the third, and then
if Washington scored, maybe we would have actually had a better game.
Yeah,
but
Michigan, you have to say Michigan dominated the entire way. But on the score, it was close through the third quarter. Michigan scored 14 unanswered points in the fourth to win 34-13. Jim Harbaugh gets his first national championship at Michigan in possibly his final year at Michigan, and I think we'll get into that a little bit later.
Now the real question is, will John Harbaugh win the Super Bowl and have both brothers win both football's biggest awards?
That would be pretty crazy if that were to happen, of course.
The year for the Harbaughs.
Yeah, John Harbaugh.
You know what? I'm calling it now, even though this isn't a part of the segment. Watch Jim Harbaugh go to the Patriots.
Why?
Watch it.
I heard a rumor that Titans head coach
Mike Vrabel.
Yeah, I meant Mike Vrabel. He might go to New England.
He's going to New England. That's that's probably the undisputed answer. He's the most successful Bill Belichick disciple to go and coach for another team.
I mean, he is a good coach. It's just at the Titans, they just don't have the good players.
They were good until
the
Titans were competitive until they traded A.J. Brown.
Yeah.
Also, you do have to, in a later episode, have to talk about Derrick Henry because he just gave his last speech during the game on Sunday.
Yeah, after the game, Derrick Henry, his last game as a Tennessee Titan, barring some incredible circumstance that I don't think we're going to see. Michael Penix had an off game, 255 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. McCarthy only 140 yards. It was more of a running game for Michigan. Blake Corum took 21 runs, got 2 touchdowns, and 134 yards.
But I think the real star of that show was Donovan Edwards.
Yes.
2 of his rushes went for 46 and I believe 45 yards.
It was 46 and 41.
46 and 41 yards.
Two
highest rushing yards for touchdowns behind Derrick Henry
in 2016.
In college football national championship history.
It was Donovan Edwards had 41 and 46, and Derrick Henry had a 50-yard rushing touchdown in 2016 with Alabama.
2016?
Yep.
Michigan, I think what Michigan did was they took their foot off the pedals. If you watch the first quarter again,
it was like on ESPN.
If you watch the first quarter again, Michigan was just picking Washington apart. Their defense had no clue how to stop them. They would either try and commit to the run with a deep shot to get like 20 yards, or they'd go back and you'd get 46, 41-yard rushing touchdowns.
Yeah. Edwards averaged 17.3 yards per carry on just 6 carries, 104 yards total.
That's all they did all game.
Another 2 touchdowns, and all of their touchdowns coming off Blake Corum and Donovan Edwards. Again, as we said, Michigan dominated the whole game, as I think most of us expected, except Mr. Koppelman over here, who did pick the Huskies to win it all, which did not go very well.
You guys even picked them in the picks.
We wanted Washington to win.
We wanted Washington,
but we picked Michigan logically.
Yes.
Our logic made sense.
Well, there's a reason why
I thought Dame
everybody
Dollars
thought-
shoes would come up clutch.
there's a reason. There's a reason why everybody was expecting Michigan to win. Not that we wanted Michigan to
The
win.
scriptwriters wrote
expected.
out Michigan twice in the season. Jim Harbaugh gone twice, I believe.
Bro, why are
Yeah,
you
once.
glazing Michigan so much?
He's
I'm-
not. He's being
As,
right though.
as a Ohio State fan.
I'm not
He's
glazing
not a real
Michigan.
Ohio
I'm
State
just
fan.
writing the
To
story.
take that from you, Michael. Of course, Jim Harbaugh suspended earlier in the year, I think just for one game, and then of course the Big Ten suspension for 3 games.
Mhm.
They still win. They still go undefeated, and then once they get to the playoff, they defeat Alabama in the Rose Bowl, and they crush Washington in the national championship game for their first national championship since 1997. I don't think we have any more thoughts on this blowout, so we shall move to the newer college sport to talk about college basketball. We had 2 big upsets last night for the number 1 and number 2 teams. The number 1 Purdue Boilermakers lost to the 13-3 Nebraska Cornhuskers 88-72 on the road. The Cornhuskers now 3-2 in the Big Ten Conference, just behind Purdue, who is also 3-2. And Houston, the number 2 team, was previously undefeated at 14-0, traveled to the Iowa State Cyclones in a now Big 12 conference game and lost 57-53. The top 2 teams will tumble in the AP poll, and we will have more to talk about. But in the
It's a race to March.
yes,
At
it's
this
a
point.
race to March.
It's a race.
It's a marathon tomorrow.
It's a marathon
It is a
to March,
marathon.
and it's one that we will be watching intently here on the Pascack Clutch podcast. To watch a specific conference more intently, as a little bit closer to home, of course, with St. John's Seton Hall so close. Mr. Sean Barry, our resident college basketball fan, with our Big East breakdown.
Big East basketball, best conference in college basketball, has been off to a great start here in 2024. Over the past weekend, Seton Hall upset Marquette at home at the Rock. They won 78-75. Villanova and St. John's versus each other. St. John's won 81-71. Creighton won against Providence 69-60. Georgetown won against DePaul 68-65. And yesterday, Seton Hall barely won, which was a close one, 74-70. And Creighton easily crushed DePaul 84-58. Today, there are 2 Big East games on FS1. First game at 6:30 p.m., Providence versus St. John's. And then later at 8:30 on FS1, UConn versus Xavier. And then, so far, our top 5 standings here in the Big East. First place is Seton Hall right now. They're 4-1. They're 4-1, 11-5. Second place is UConn. They are ranked 4 right now in the country. They're 3-1, 13-2. Third place is St. John's. They're 3-1, 11-4. 4 Villanova, 3-1, 10-5. And 5 Creighton, who are ranked 22 in the country. They are 3-2 and 12-4.
And Marquette sitting at 7th position in the Big East Conference, ranked number 11 overall in the country in the AP poll. They are 2-2 in conference, of course, with that most recent loss to Seton Hall stinging the most. Seton Hall is first. The Pirates, the only team 4-1 in the Big East right now, a 3-way tie for second at the moment. UConn, St. John's, and Villanova are all 3-1.
And also Kadar Richmond won Big East. Kadar Richmond won Big East Player of the Week, and he also won Army National Guard of the Week too.
A big win for the Seton Hall Guard there. And now, I believe we should go on to the NFL. It's a shortened lunch period today. We had a delayed opening here at Pascack Hills due to the weather. A little bit shorter, but we have a lot to talk about in the National Football League. We'll start with the Week 18 recap. The week that is probably the most fun in the NFL regular season, I guess you could say, because, I mean, for me, I like watching all the playoff scenarios happen.
Yeah.
But you can pick whatever.
But I feel like once it starts at like week 15, when teams
Yes.
really start to figure out if they're going to make it or not,
Yeah.
that's when it gets the best.
Week 18 is the culmination of that.
Yeah.
But
But-
in Week 18, we had 2 games on Saturday. The Steelers beat the Ravens 17-14, I think the final score there. And then the night game was Texans-Colts. The winner would make the playoffs. And since Jacksonville lost, the winner would also win the AFC South.
Yep.
And the Texans pulled away 23-19 because of a drop on a fourth down play. It was a screen pass. I think he would have gotten it.
so.
To the third string
but
running back.
He was wide open.
Not Jonathan
wide
Taylor,
open.
not Zach Moss,
Mhm.
their third stringer.
And they didn't run it with both Zach Moss and
No.
Jonathan Taylor
Nope.
on the team in the backfield. I feel like Taylor was injured, but Zach Moss wasn't, and I think he could have gotten it. And
Moss
I think it was like 4th and 1 or 4th and 2. So I think
Yeah.
if you ran it there, you would have gotten it.
Yeah. They were just trying to check it, just to like get over the line, just for a little check down for a little bit of yardage, which has become a huge problem in the league. There's so many check counts now.
Which is why I think in our minds the NFL has kind of gone a little bit down in the term.
It's gone
play
soft.
quality. Yeah.
Look
Yeah,
at
because there's
2010
so
Kansas.
many checkdowns.
When players were rocking each other,
Uh-huh.
quarterbacks were
It was
afraid to step on the
beautiful.
field.
There's
That may
because there's
also
so
be
many
nostalgia,
things to protect like rules and regulations and stuff like that now to protect quarterbacks and wide receivers that it makes it so much harder, but it also makes it harder on the offense as well to be able to make those regular plays that they were making not even 10 years ago.
Yeah. So, anyways, a big win for the Texans that wins them the AFC South and gets them in the playoffs with a home playoff game. They will play the Browns. We'll talk about the playoff schedule for Wild Card Weekend. Of course, Jacksonville upset on the road by the Tennessee Titans. Now 6-11, they finished their season. Fired head coach Mike Vrabel, which we'll talk about soon. 28-20, the final score there. The Jags knocked out at 9-8, second year that Trevor Lawrence has missed the playoffs. In the NFC South, the Bucs needed a win to win their division and make the playoffs. They got it, just barely, a 9-0 win over the worst team in the National Football League, the Carolina Panthers. Eagles should have an easy win in front of them at Raymond James Stadium on Monday night, I would say.
The thing is, they should have an easy game.
Well,
but how the Eagles have been playing,
I think the Buccaneers will win.
Playoff Baker ain't sound too bad
I
right
think
now.
Both teams are coming off really bad games.
Okay, so honestly, I think that if A.J. Brown is back and Jalen Hurts' finger doesn't get in the way, we have a serious chance because I think Sirianni this week is really going to push into the defense that you can't play like you have been. And I know it's like a little bit of a superstition, but if you look at the Ravens in 2013 when they were playing really good, they were 10-2 in the first 12 games of the season.
That was the year after they won the Super Bowl, right?
I think it was the same year.
The year, okay, so
and then
season.
they went 1-5 in the back the back half of the season, and they went on to win the Super Bowl.
Okay.
They all rallied around behind Ray Lewis.
Oh, we'll see. I mean, the Eagles just lost to the Giants pretty badly.
Yeah.
The Bucs just.
Well, honestly, everyone got hurt.
Oh yes.
Got hurt.
I mean, Hurts got hurt. A.J. Brown, is he out now?
I don't. No, he's not out. He's questionable.
Okay, it was something with his knee.
Go back to Buccaneers Eagles, but for upsets, could we see the Steelers win against the Bills? No, but here's the thing.
I'll tell you why. Because TJ
I don't.
Watt's
No,
out,
I
so
think
there's
no. I think Bills are going to win against Steelers, but I've been seeing multiple stories and articles. Mike Tomlin's preparing his guys for this game.
Yeah, it's just them hyping up the Steelers again. Nothing ever happens with the Steelers.
No.
They just get an automatic 500 record. Sometimes sneak their way into the playoffs. Sometimes don't, and then they lose in the wild card.
Exactly.
They don't have a quarterback. They don't use George Pickens correctly. And they're not going to have TJ Watt on defense, so there's no chance.
What happens if they do win?
If they do win,
the Bills are way too good to lose to the Steelers.
Bro, they almost lost to Skylar Thompson to the Dolphins last year in the wild card.
That is true. That is.
And Mason Rudolph is so much more better.
Last year. That's last year.
It doesn't matter. Bro, the Bills.
It's the exact same team this year. I feel like.
They're on a tear. Honestly, they're on a hot streak.
They are on a win streak.
They're
it's the playoffs. The Bills always choke in the playoffs.
Yes,
though.
they do. I think the Bills will at least.
Well, that's the divisional round.
But they almost lost to Skylar Thompson, bro.
Almost.
They only won by like 4.
I remember.
But you know who they lost to?
Last year.
Zach Wilson, week 1.
Jets.
Jets. Sucks.
Okay. And speaking of the AFC East, we had Sunday Night Football last week where it was the Bills against the Dolphins in Miami for the AFC East Championship.
Yep.
The Bills locking up a playoff spot with that Jacksonville loss earlier in the day. The winner would be the number 2 seed. The loser would have to play a away game in the wild card round. And the Bills came out with it. They're now 5-0 in the past 5 weeks.
Yeah.
21-14 the final score. Miami with another loss to a 500 team.
Mm-hmm.
Just how long until Miami loses in this first round to Kansas City?
Well, that is how bad will they lose?
It won't be
When,
that bad because Tyreek Hill will probably go off.
When the
but
Chiefs and Dolphins played early in Germany, Chiefs won. How much did they win again?
I can
21-17, I believe.
Yeah.
I think, I'm not trying to hype
14.
the Dolphins up or anything here, but I feel like I don't feel like the Chiefs are still good enough to like. Maybe it's the playoffs and maybe Mahomes is now like trying to lock in, but like I feel like the Dolphins do have a good chance in this game to like win.
I think both teams have a good chance. The problem, you are in Kansas City, you are in weather where the temperature at kickoff is supposed to be 0 degrees Fahrenheit. That's right, 0
but
degrees
Tyreek Hill
Fahrenheit.
wants to like.
I know Tyreek Hill wants to go through them, but Miami's a soft team when they play in the cold.
Oh yeah, true.
Yeah.
And then after the regular season ended on Sunday night, we had the famous Black Monday, where it was firing day for the NFL. 3 head coaches fired this week. Started on Monday with the Falcons firing coach Arthur Smith and the Washington Commanders firing Ron Rivera.
Ron Rivera said, leading up to this, he thought his job was secured. Guess not.
Well, maybe
He only led
maybe
them-
don't go 4-12.
He only led them to one playoff appearance
Exactly.
back when we were in 7th grade.
And that was 2020 in the COVID year when they made it with a losing record because all of the
The
NFC
Giants
East
could
was
make the
bad.
playoffs that year at 6-10.
Every team could have
I
made
know.
Every team in the NFC East could have made the
It
playoffs that
was
year.
that division was so bad that year.
That was just bad. And then yesterday we had a surprising move, I think you could say, by the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah.
They fired Mike Vrabel.
Yeah.
And now the speculation becomes with Belichick probably going
To retire.
his separate ways to either retire or go somewhere else from the Patriots. Does the former New England Patriot player and coach Mike Vrabel go to the Patriots to coach them now?
I think so. Look how it I know Antonio Pierce played for the Giants, but he was a Raiders fan, and he has that mentality that could connect with the players. I think Mike Vrabel is the same way. Even though he's on the other side of that game, I think he can make a big impact in New England and maybe bring him back to...
Yeah. I kind of agree with
playoffs.
them, even though different sport here, almost with Sheen Hall player. Last year with Willard before he went to Maryland, they were kind of like, what's going to happen with Sheen Hall? Sheen Holloway comes back. First year, not that good, but like he came back to bring Seton Hall as the good program as they were and how they are doing good right now. So that's that's what what New England's trying to do now.
And I think that'll go well if Vrabel goes there. They have a very good defense. Their offense is so-so. I feel like they need to take a quarterback with that second pick in the draft this year because either Mac Jones or Bailey Zappi is not working out for them.
That brings up the question of who?
And that is a question we'll get
Draft
to.
a
in
QB,
April.
bro.
Or
But which one?
do you look towards free agency or do you look to trade?
They're going to draft a QB.
They're going to draft
Simple.
a QB probably, but you never know in this day and age.
I think with him going to New England, and if they get Drake May, like that.
I can see that being all right for them. Vrabel's a different coach from Belichick, I think.
Most
say that.
definitely.
He's off the tree, but he's a very different coach.
Question. Now that Vrabel's fired and Derrick Henry wants to leave, do they possibly grab Derrick Henry and have the Ramondre Stevenson-Derrick Henry duo?
That could go very well. Of
That
course,
could be
Derrick
interesting.
Henry,
That
the
could be
former
New England.
Tennessee Titan.
That could be the 1-2 punch
That
again.
would be very good, and the Patriots would have a.
I also said this yesterday. I could also see the Eagles really trying to push to get Derrick Henry.
Yeah, because I feel like running back is that position that you guys have.
Yeah. I don't. Why?
Yeah, and
why?
also,
yeah.
and also, it's that one thing that we're not that confident about. And I think if we got Derrick Henry instead of DeAndre Swift, we could have a lot of damage on offense.
Yeah.
Because everyone keeps saying to run the ball, but I think Jalen Hurts is afraid, and Nick Sirianni and the offensive coordinator is afraid to run the ball because of DeAndre Swift's inability to sometimes have a good couple of runs.
I have a feeling. I mean, Henry, we have no idea where he's going to go.
No,
I mean,
he can land anywhere.
He can land anywhere.
He can land anywhere.
Except for the Jets, probably.
this is
But-
also a speculation.
The
Or
Jets and the
Giants.
Giants.
Even then,
Like
yeah.
he wouldn't land the Jets or the Giants.
I don't know.
A
New
player
York's
to keep-
a big enough
A
market.
player to keep your eye on, which I don't really want to say until the new season starts, but Josh Jacobs. If Antonio Pierce does not become the head coach and becomes the Packers special team coordinator, because that's what happened last time,
Yeah.
is this the last time we see Josh Jacobs in a Raiders uniform?
Did he
No.
sign his 5th-year extension?
No.
Really?
Raiders never gave him one.
I have a feeling he's going to get franchise tagged.
Yeah.
And
So
then
that's
we'll
what
see
happened.
thing with Barkley again. My dad,
Yep.
we think that he's gonna get franchise tag again.
Mhm.
But he hasn't been healthy. 2, he hasn't put up the same numbers. I know Josh McDaniels coached the first half of the season, and that did not go well. But Josh Jacobs didn't play like his 2022 self.
Or didn't.
He changed his number, and he goes mid.
Well, that's the deal.
So that's something that the Eagles could possibly get their on.
One more firing to talk about, and it hits closer to home here in North Jersey. The Giants' defensive coordinator, Wink Martindale, resigning after his 2 buddies got fired by
Yep.
Brian Dable and the Giants earlier yesterday. Wink Martindale now gone. The Giants with a big hole on the defensive coaching side, I would say, because they have their 3 top defensive coaches are gone now.
And you know what the Eagles need to do along with that? Fire their offensive coordinator.
Who was their coordinator?
Some
Exactly.
bozo. Some
Exactly.
bozo.
You want Mick Lombardi?
Um,
Oh, not Mick Lombardi. He's not.
literally anybody else. I can tell you that much.
I'm so stupid. Bo Hardigree, that's his name. You want Bo Hardigree?
Brian Johnson.
We'll be taking a short break. And welcome back. We have a big idea here from Eagles fan Sam Koppelman on what to do with the offensive
You
coordinator.
know what we should do while in the process of firing Brian Johnson? Freeing Big Dom and making him our offensive coordinator.
That would probably be better than what you have right now. with the play
Honestly.
calling. Just throw it. Just Jalen, either run or throw. I trust you. That's what the
Free
play
Big
calling
Dom.
should be.
You want
Until
Bo
he
Hardigree?
gets his finger.
Free
hurt.
Big Dom. You know what? I also realized ever since Big Dom has been banned from
the
being
games?
out
They
from the
haven't been
games,
doing well.
they barely won.
Yes.
We
Yes.
need Big Dom. We need free,
We
free
need
Big Dom. Free Big Dom.
It's a conspiracy to keep the Eagles away.
Yep.
You're also for the Eagles. I don't know when CD Lamb's contract is, but when he's a free agent, do the
Honestly,
Eagles go get CD Lamb
That'd
and
be-
no.
reunite
Honestly,
Hurts and
AJ Brown and Devontae Smith, the 1-2 wide receiver, is perfectly fine right now.
I know, but
The only thing maybe we could improve on is with wide receiver 3, but you don't want to make it too much of a competition
Exactly,
for that one
you don't-
for,
you don't-
for
No,
all
yeah,
of that
yeah.
1-2-3.
yeah, I'm just saying like if Lamb, because like Lamb and Hurts went off together at
Mhm.
Oklahoma.
'Cause I think even though that there is that, I think that that Olamide Zaccheaus and Julio Jones are doing a perfectly fine job at that
How is
wide
Julio
receiver
Jones
3.
doing?
He's been playing pretty.
I
Like,
feel-
for
I
the
feel
couple
like-
of
I haven't
appearances he's
even
made.
seen
I
him
feel
play.
like
okay.
the prospect of getting Dallas's number one wide receiver may be.
Pretty much impossible,
Yeah.
especially since
but
he probably wouldn't be
it
wide
may be
receiver
very appealing for the
That,
Eagles.
but
brass to do that.
hold on.
Mhm.
But when DeMarco Murray was in Dallas, he was the big running back, and look, Eagles got DeMarco Murray.
That's true. That's very true. I think we should end this episode by talking about the NFL wildcard weekend that's coming up. Saturday, we have two games, both on NBC adjacent channels. We have Cleveland at Houston. Joe Flacco locked up a playoff spot already. He's playing at CJ Stroud, now the AFC South champion in his rookie year, and probably the offensive rookie of the year, if I'm being honest. That is 4:30 on NBC.
CJ Stroud wins.
The night game on
Nah,
Saturday.
Puka Nakua
Puka Nacua.
for rookie
yeah,
offensive
yeah.
player of the year.
And then the Saturday nightcap at 8 o'clock on Peacock. Yes, Peacock. You'll have to pay for streaming for that. It's the Miami Dolphins and the Kansas City Chiefs in Kansas City. As we mentioned before, the temperature expected at kickoff, 0 degrees Fahrenheit.
A low
and
of
that is
-9.
without the wind chill as well.
Yeah,
It's going to be a
Dolphins
low of
are out.
A
-9.
night game in Kansas City.
It's
The
going to be
Dolphins,
terrible.
of course, playing in warm weather. These past, I think, 3 weeks, they haven't had a road game in a while.
Nope.
No.
And
It's gonna be terrible.
And I think Kansas City comes out
Kansas
with
City
that
has
one.
it on locks.
We'll be picking that one, but we'll get to the picks in just a moment. Sunday, a triple header. We start on CBS with the Steelers at the Buffalo Bills. The Bills coming
Bills.
off on a 5-game winning streak. TJ Watt is out with an ACL sprain for this game. Pittsburgh, of course, with Mason Rudolph at their quarterback position. Buffalo with Josh Allen. I think it's a pretty easy Buffalo pick there.
If Madden
Except for
covered,
Sean over here.
I think Steelers might upset. I'm telling you, man.
if
All
Madden
right,
24
telling you.
cover athlete Josh Allen does not throw much picks or any picks at all, I think the Buffalo Bills win this.
Yes.
Buffalo, honestly.
And then 4:30 on Fox, it's an old rivalry in the playoffs. The Green Bay Packers at the Dallas Cowboys.
Packers are winning.
No Ice Bowl. I can see the Packers win that. and
Jordan
upset
Love
Dak.
is
No
gonna-
Des
Jordan
Bryant.
Love is
Dak is gonna sell in the playoffs,
yes.
bro.
Jordan Love is on a very hot streak, and I think Jordan Love will make the divisional round. And
But let's
then
just say Des caught it.
Sunday night football, 8 o'clock on NBC in the wild card round. The LA Rams at the Detroit Lions. Matthew Stafford comes home to Detroit for the first time after his trade to the Los Angeles Rams. He's a Super Bowl champion. He has Puka Nacua, as you guys said, possibly
It's
the
two-
offensive player of the
It's
year.
two
or offensive rookie of the year.
quarterback revenge games.
Yes.
Jared
I
Goff
think
and
Lions will win the
Matt
game.
Stafford.
I have a feeling the Lions will win, but don't
They
underestimate
do
the Lions.
also
selling
for
in
the
playoffs.
Lions. Since Dan Campbell did start his starters, for doing that, their rookie big tight end Sam Laporta's out now
Yep.
because of hyperextended knee,
Mhm.
and now it's like, now you don't have them. If you did rest them, you. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, don't underestimate the Lions selling in the
No.
playoffs. Don't underestimate Stafford throwing for 500 yards, Puka Nacua 200 yards.
Because
3
besides,
touchdowns.
besides for the receivers, besides Amon-Ra St. Brown, Josh Reynolds, who else do they have for receivers?
I think
Exactly.
this game could be really boring or really good. Like,
I
no
agree.
in between.
I agree with
No in
that. It could
between.
be like one of those classic NFC slugfest where it's 14
It's gonna be a lot of running the ball.
Yeah.
Because you already know the Rams are just gonna run the ball.
No,
playmakers.
they'll throw to Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua.
Yeah.
It'll be like the 2021
Yeah, because that's the
NFC championship.
probably one of the best tandems of
Yes,
1-2.
4 wide receivers.
I know,
Yeah.
but Rams
Right
do
now.
do a lot of running with
I know,
ball.
I know,
with Kyle
I know.
Williams.
But we will see.
I think Amon-Ra goes off, Jameer Gibbs goes off, Stafford goes off, Puka goes off.
I have a feeling that we could see that.
Alright.
And
It's
then,
it's either going to be a very offensive game or a very defensive game.
and
Don't
then-
forget, Lions got Aiden Hutchinson,
Oh,
Yep.
yes, they do at tight end.
and then you got Aaron Donald.
Tight end?
Sorry, I'm
Defensive
that's
end.
Hawkinson. That's
Defensive
Hawkinson I'm
end.
thinking of. I always get them
Well,
mixed up. Hutchinson and Hawkinson.
Hawkinson's on the.
Hawkinson's on the Vikings.
Vikings, yeah.
Yeah. He's the tight end on the Vikings. I
Yep.
always get
Yeah.
the two mixed up. I don't know why. And then Monday Night Football, we have the Eagles at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers,
Yep.
8:15 on ESPN. The Bucks, of course, coming off that 9-0 win over Carolina.
Yeah.
Very disappointing to win by just 9 points over the worst team in the league.
Yeah.
The Eagles coming off a loss to the Giants. Both teams should be playing with a little bit of emotion. I have a feeling the Eagles may come out and put up a stinker. I also have a feeling they may come out and put up a huge score over the Tampa
I
Bay
think
Bucks.
it. Yeah,
can
I
see
agree.
it going
I agree.
either way.
I can see it being like a 9-3 game
Mhm.
because of like a Marcus Mariota just getting really lucky
Yeah.
if he ends up playing because Jalen Hurts is out.
What
And
was
then-
the score earlier in the year? It was like 33-30.
Yeah, I was like.
Yeah, that was the early Monday Night Football. game.
Yeah.
I
But
forget
Eagles were
That was
way
the-
better.
that was-
than-
that was a
for
good
the
game.
season.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah, that was a good game, but these are two different teams from
Yeah,
what
I
they were
know.
at the start of the year. I feel
Yeah.
like.
But it's really dependent on whether or not Jalen Hurts' finger is good enough to play
Yes.
on Monday. Because if he can play, it's pretty much, in my opinion, and if the defense shows up a little bit more, it's pretty much locks for Philadelphia.
Mhm.
Even though I do have some bias with that, but if Jalen Hurts doesn't play,
It's Tampa's game.
Is it a hot take to say this Buccaneers team Baker's on is better than their 2020 Cleveland Browns team that he was
Absolutely.
on?
Absolutely not. That's an easy.
Yeah.
So-
thing to say.
This could
And also, Baker's dealing with like bruised ribs still.
Yes.
So this could be a really interesting game because playoff Baker was not bad.
We already know.
Look,
right.
Baker Mayfield's having a great season. He's just not on a great
Yeah.
team.
It's on a mid team.
With our
better
lunch
Carolina.
period winding down, let's finish this episode off with our wild card weekend picks. One game from the AFC, one game from the NFC. Miami, Kansas City on Saturday night. Sam, we start with you. I don't have the odds.
Kansas City,
winning
just give me
percentage up.
Kansas.
I think that's an easy pick. too.
Yeah,
This is
Michael,
gonna be
yeah.
like Washington.
Sean,
Kansas City.
yeah.
For me, this is gonna be like
And
Washington, Michigan all over again.
There's
As
the
much as I want to
sweep.
pick
Kansas
Miami,
City.
it's Kansas City all around.
And we'll have the Rams-Detroit game for our NFC pick. Sam, you're up.
don't give me Detroit.
I can see that. Michael?
See, I'm gonna go opposite. I'm gonna go LA Rams.
All right, Sean?
LA, I gotta respect my
wants the
boy
Rams.
from Notre Dame, Kyron Williams.
Yes, sir. And I'm going with the Rams as well. Sean, you want to take us out with the Big East games?
Yeah,
coming up?
besides also Super Wild Card Weekend, we also got some good Big East games, and we got some Big East games on Monday, Martin Luther King Day special on Fox. This Friday, 3-12 DePaul versus 10-5 Villanova, 8:30 FS1. Saturday, we got three Big East games. 11-5 Seton Hall versus 10-5 Butler at 12 on FS1. And then St. John's will travel to Creighton. 11-4 St. John's versus 12-4 Creighton. That game's at 1 p.m. on Fox. And then later, 2 p.m. on FS1. 7-7 Xavier versus 11-4 Providence on FS1. And then Sunday, we have a game before Bills and Steelers. Georgetown versus UConn. That game is on 12 p.m. on Fox. 8-8 Georgetown versus 13-2 UConn. And then Monday, Martin Luther King Day Junior Special on Fox at 2:30 p.m. We got 10-5 Villanova at 11-4 Marquette on Fox.
Well, it's a great Big East slate to watch. It's a great weekend
Yeah.
of sports coming up, I think, with the NFL playoffs starting, college basketball in gear. For Michael McKay, Sam Koppelman, and Sean Barry, I'm Matthew Merlino. If you're at Hills, get prepared to go to your 8th period class. If you're not, enjoy the rest of your week. And we will see you next Wednesday here on the Pascack Clutch Podcast.